conversation. And then once we got to that and I explained how everything worked, their answer would be, well, I've already been searching for X amount of time with these agents. And I said, okay, you've been working with these agents for X amount of time and you still haven't found what you're looking for. So the difference between those agents and me is that I'm going to open up more opportunity for you while still showing you, what's available on the market. You're just getting an extra oomph basically. And his answer to that was, I want to work with those agents if they show me something that I end up liking, but I want to work with you on off markets. So now he categorized me as only if I find that, then I'll do that for him.
So, okay, a couple things here.
Yeah.
One is you over-indexed in your conversation on off markets. It sounds like you're aware of that.
Yeah.
So you were like, I'm going to get you off markets. I'm going to give you this extra benefit, blah, 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 blah.
Correct.
So the next thing you need to figure out is, what are my other value propositions? What does my value stack look like outside of the box of off markets?
Yeah.
Right? Because now you're relegated to I'm an off-market expert and I'm only valuable if I find you off markets.
Yeah.
So it's refining what you say there.
Got it.
In addition to that, what you need to do is called what I call getting to the O.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking to me and you're telling me and you're explaining this problem. It's about whatever, your car.
Yeah. And
I'm like, okay, what about this? And does it make this noise? And how long has it been going on? And when you park, does it shake a little bit right when you put it in park before you turn it off? And it almost feels like it's going to turn off. And you're like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I go, oh, okay, boom. How do you feel immediately when I go, oh?
Yeah, I feel like you're more understanding my pain
Yeah, I clearly heard you. You're now understood. I could put my finger on the issue, and you would assume that the next likely thing that comes out of my mouth is a great prescription for the solution to your problem. And you're like, oh, your timing belt is off. And so probably let's go check it real quick. And it's like an $18 fix if you want to do it yourself. You go to a body shop or you go to an auto shop, it might be $100, right? And you're like, okay, cool. Now I have the solution. So what we want to help people do is, rather than tell them their problem with their thinking, is we need to first confirm that their thinking has a flaw, their belief system has a flaw, right? Because truly his belief system is flawed. Yeah. He believes that multiple agents working for me increases the likelihood that I find the right property.
Oh, yeah.
That's his belief.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? But I need to confirm that first by asking questions. And it's crazy because literally the last video I shot maybe 10 minutes ago was, we need to replace our well with what's. So here's what happens a lot of times. You go, well, this, that, and the other. You go, well, did you know that, commitment breeds commitment? And that blah, 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 blah. And we go off and we pontificate upon some point, and we start off the sentence with, well, did you know that historically over the last 60 years that we've tracked interest rates, that 7% is not actually high, it's pretty average? They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? So when we replace well with a what, that means a question, right?
Got it. Yeah.
And so the conversation might sound something like this. Oh, I get it. So let me just confirm something real quickly. What is it about working with multiple agents? What is it that about working with multiple agents you believe gives you an advantage? Right? Or do you believe, I might even ask first, do you believe that working with multiple agents somehow gives you some advantage?
Yeah.
And they'll go, yeah. Okay, so we'll role play it. So do you believe that working with multiple agents somehow gives you an advantage?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what advantage do you think you're getting from that?
Well, I think the more agents, then they're going to be all looking for what I'm looking for. So one of them has to have, or has to find the house that I want.
Oh, so you're kind of like, hey, if I could place as many bets at the same time with as many different people as possible, then it increases my odds of finding the right home. Is that what you mean?
Correct. Yeah.
See how I confirmed that first?
Yeah.
And then I get to go, oh, see, now I'm in the place where I understand your belief. Now here's the problem. Now I'm going to say, oh, that makes perfect sense. And it's actually super common that people think that. That's what their thought process is. Oh, wow, this is the thing. have you ever heard the phrase commitment breeds commitment? They probably haven't because, like, as far as I know, I made it up. But anyways, like, but there's probably some version out there of someone smarter that said it more articulately than I did. I'm just saying that phrase specifically. Have you ever heard that? Like, I know, but well, here's the core concept: is that when you're in a relationship with anybody, take it like the easiest place for me to go is the personal relationship, right? Do you find yourself being willing to commit to somebody that's not willing to commit to you? What do you mean? Well, for clarity, are you dating anybody? Do you have a spouse? Oh, okay, yeah, blah, blah. By the way, most salespeople are too afraid to even ask that shit.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's like where most people go wrong. I'm going to ask it.
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship? Whatever, because I'm trying to make it relatable.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, okay, well, imagine that person was like, I'm not going to commit to you. I'm going to date around, but I want you to function the same way as you are, as though we were in a committed relationship. Was that something that appeals to you?
No.
No, not at all, right? And I wouldn't expect it, but, it's curious. Maybe you are open to that. So now that we have that, you can understand this concept. That when you don't commit to an agent, regardless of the words they say after you guys talk about this, they don't really commit to you. And so here's how that really plays out. What you really want, now they're all jumping in. You can hang out here just as much. But what you really want is someone to commit to you. So here's what that looks like in the real estate world, right? What's up, Rory? We're already working through our first. We're already. I know role play ran long. Sabrina and I are already. She's here in the office. We're working through an issue that she had, which is having a client who wants to work with multiple agents, right? So step number one in this scenario is what?
Step number one would be to relate to what or actually to phrase a phrase on what they believe as to why they want to work with multiple agents.
Yeah, I need to confirm that they believe that they somehow have an advantage, right? That there's somehow an advantage to working with multiple agents.
Yeah.
So what I asked her was, hey, so like, do you believe that working with multiple agents somehow gives you an advantage? She said, yeah. And then I said, well, what advantage is that? She said, well, if I have this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, right, getting to the, okay, so you have a fundamental belief that the more people that are working for you, the increases the likelihood that you find the house that you want, right? And I said, well, have you ever heard the phrase commitment breeds commitment? Chances are they haven't. And then I related to them in a real way. I go, in any relationship, think personal, for example. If someone were to ask you, Rory, hey, I would like to not have an exclusive relationship with you, but I would like you to function as though we are exclusive. Is that a relationship that you're interested in? Probably not. Now, let's say you found yourself in that relationship. Would you give it the time of day if you had other options? Probably not. So here's how that plays out in real estate, in real life. Because I want to give you some really good real estate advice. My job is not to try to win you over and, it is to win you over, but my job is not to just get you as a client. My job is to give you real estate advice. So if we never talk again, by the way, I use this all the time in recruiting and in any sales. If we never talk again, this is worth talking about. This is worth it, right? Because what that does is that removes my agenda entirely. So Rory, if you and I never talk again, we never speak again about real estate, this is worth learning. So the way that plays out, and actually when I give somebody something that's worth knowing, I lean in and I whisper, even if I'm on the phone. Or I lower my voice. I don't whisper, right? But I lower my voice. I go, hey, so what that really means, what that really looks like is this. If you want somebody, what you really want is somebody that's completely committed to you and committed to your cause. Because you are not the only person that is also looking for a house similar to the one you're looking to find. So here's what you want. You want somebody who's fully committed to you. So let me give you an example. So Sabrina, you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house in Poway. Okay, great. Well, we list a lot of homes in Poway. It's one of the reasons we were connected, right? Is this lead from Zillow by any chance?
No, open house.
Okay, well, either way, you found us in Poway and blah, blah, blah. And so there's a reason we met. We're really good at what we do. So here's the thing. me and my team, you know, we are number one in San Diego, number one listing team in San Diego. We are frequently inside the home of sellers, right? So we list more homes than any other team in San Diego County, which means we also meet with sellers more than anybody else in San Diego County. We meet with them before they put their home on the market, right? Because in order to get your home on the market, you got to meet an agent first. And so we know a lot about, and we meet with a lot of people who are considering selling their house before they actually list their home, before it's publicly available, which we've been referring to as off market. Well, here's what you really want. What you want is for me to be thinking about you when I'm inside that house, and my team to be thinking about you when we're inside that house. So I'll give you an example. Sabrina, you commit to me 100%. You're like, Isaac, you're my person. You're the only person I'm working with. I want to work exclusively with you. Let's find a home, whether it's off market, on market, or anything in between. And I'm like, awesome. Then I have another client that Bob will use. And Bob says, I'm going to play the field. I'm going to work with whoever brings me the deal. That's fair. And if I find the right fit for Bob, sure, I'll give it to him. But here's the thing. Bob's looking for the same thing you are. So let's real life scenario here. I walk into a house, Poway. It's 4-3. It fits everything. I'm sitting down looking at the seller and we're talking about price, and I'm looking at the home and I'm like, man, this is a perfect fit for Sabrina and for Bob. Who do you think I'm calling when I walk out the door? Sabrina, who's committed to me and says, stone cold, Isaac, you bring it to me. I'm your agent. You're my agent. I'm working with you. Your commitment breeds commitment. I'm calling Sabrina first when I walk out that door. I'm not calling Bob. Do you see how that commitment that you gave me gives you an advantage over Bob? So going back to it, you believe that working with multiple agents gives you an advantage? We're on it. You can jump in here if you want. We're doing it halfway live then.
Oh.
We're in here. Saeed's now in here. Rory's on Zoom. Sabrina, Rory's coming up. All right. Yeah, hell yeah. So anyways, the point is, can you see now that by you playing the field, so to speak, it actually gives you a disadvantage because you are now lower on the priority level because you're a not signed client. You're not committed to me. And so now in the scenario where you don't exist and Bob's the only person that I know that's looking for a house like this, yeah, Bob might, I'm gonna call Bob. But here's what I'm saying. When you commit to an agent, and here's the thing, I don't actually care whether it's me or not. I'm just giving you good real estate advice. You commit to an agent, that is going to show the agent that you're the person that they should call when they should be sitting down on the couch going, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm calling Sabrina because this is the perfect fit for her. That's what you want. So whether it's committing to me as your agent or committing to the other person, you should make a commitment. And then here's how you transition it to be me. Have any of the other agents that you're working with explained that to you? The way that I said that, by the way, is like it's kind of like, you don't have access to the MLS and you're an agent? Like, it's like, how have you talked to a human being that's that calls themselves a professional real estate agent and they haven't talked to you about this? That's kind of a sign to me, right? And so again, being somebody who's going to give you good real estate advice, the fact that this is the first time you've ever heard this blows my mind. I question whether or not those agents are like full-time agents. Maybe they're not, and that's okay. Doesn't mean they can't help you. All I'm saying is it just blows my mind a little bit. If you can't tell, I'm like a little off guard. I was caught off guard by that because like the fact that no one's ever had this conversation with you. And my question is like, maybe they don't know how to have this conversation or maybe they're afraid to have this conversation, but either way, this conversation needs to be had. Commitment breeds commitment. Right? So that's like the long version of it. You could take very short pieces of that, little clips, tidbits of it. But the reality is, and it's true in life, commitment breeds commitment, right? If I'm like, hey, show up if you'd like, dude, you're not going to show up because you didn't get my interest. I didn't go, Rory, I'd love to see you there, man. I really want to make sure you're there. Please be there. If you don't get that, what's the likelihood you show up? Well, you show up if it makes sense and your schedule allows for it and it's convenient and there's nothing else competing for your attention at that moment in time. But the reality is, if like, you know, you're like, your hair looks a little long. You're like, you know, I'm not gonna get a haircut instead of do that thing. Because it didn't seem like Isaac was committed to me being there. Why should I commit to being there myself? So so she was dealing with an instance where she's running into the, hey, I'm working with multiple agents. And they put her in a box of off market. So the first advice I gave was, what are the other value propositions besides off markets? Because you did what we call over-indexed. You over-indexed on, I'm going to find you off-market properties. So then you just became the off-market person. And they said, well, you bring me off markets and I'll work with this other agent for everything else.
I actually had that happen to me exactly.
Yeah.